Welcome to this special Roll for Crit podcast, the official podcast for RollForCrit.com. Watch, shop, play. I'm Will Keeler.
I'm Jonathan Estes, and as you can tell from our t-shirts, this is our special Gen Con wrap-up edition episode for 2016. If you didn't see, we've been putting out shows all throughout the last week.
Yeah, but we're finally back on the go, which means we can go a bit more in detail with everything
Right.
that we got to see, because we weren't able to cover every little thing.
No, we certainly were not, and there's a few things you might have even seen behind us last week that we did not do episodes for, mini episodes, whatever you want to call them. So that's a good place to start. Some of the stuff that we actually got to play or purchase or check out that we didn't have time to do an episode for, or maybe that just wasn't one of the big deals that was really exciting to us or to other people. Anything that you bought while there that you didn't talk about?
Well, I'm trying to go through now the mini episodes of what I actually did. We did talk about and didn't
I know there's at least one thing that's behind us on the shelf, the Secrets of the Lost Tomb.
Right. Well, that one actually is a special one. That one started selling at the Gen Con, but I actually backed on Kickstarter and received it. Now, if you don't know, we've talked about multiple times before, Secrets of the Lost Tomb. And actually, I don't know if they can see it because it's behind you. But the game, it came out with a new expansion, and I totally forgot the name. Yeah, Fate's Fortune. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This new expansion is actually, I think it's almost like this one was made for you.
Oh.
Because what this does is the characters actually are more story-driven. They actually have special little goals, and you get to flip over to an ascended side. But what this game also adds, and this is where I think you're getting excited, 3 new scenarios, and of course all of them work with the new trader mechanic. So the trader actually has his own secret goals, and he may want to help out, maybe he's in debt, all this crazy stuff. So he can also switch over. And they actually added 2 new rooms, which if you're using the trader mechanic, actually allow you to look at people's cards secretly and see if they're a traitor or not.
Do you know if it's a thing like Dead of Winter where there may or may not be a traitor, or is it you're either using it or you aren't using it? I guess you could do either.
I think it's you may or may not.
Okay.
And by the sound of it, I haven't fully read through, but you may or may not have multiple traitors.
Oh. what if I'm guessing not more than like 2.
I think there's like 4 cards, and you probably shuffle in 1 or 2 or something.
That should be a game where everyone can be a traitor. No one wants you to win.
Because the traders win when the regular players lose. So if everyone's a traitor, then like we win.
Good job. Great. Nice. It's like an awkward meeting from the Thing, where they all realize, oh, we're all the Thing.
But it also came with a Vampirella. I believe they had their Vampirella promo and a Van Helsing promo.
Oh, okay.
Which they're really good because it's like they can't get any negative traits on them.
Is Vampirella, I thought that was like from DC. Is that an actual
I don't know.
mythological character?
No.
Must be, because I don't think they got the rights to...
Well, it's the comic artwork, so...
Oh, I don't know.
But the other cool stuff, and these things I think are very exciting, is we've talked about this before, but they actually got the rights to Big Trouble in Little China board game,
right.
Which we have the legendary one behind us.
2 different companies.
Yes. In this, I actually talked to them about it. It's really cool. It's actually going to be a cooperative game, trying to stop all the monsters from breaking out and stuff. And the way it works is you're going to be using like a cooperative dice pool. So you're going to roll the dice, and you have to choose how to spend them together in order to use your actions correctly. So that sounds really cool and an interesting sort of shared resource mechanic.
Kind of like Robinson Crusoe sort of does that in other games, just not with dice.
Yeah.
Sort of like worker placement, but you actually have to work together to do it.
Yeah.
It's a fun mechanic.
Definitely. And I believe that's slated for 2017, if I recall.
Okay.
Another big one that they're coming out is Secrets of the Lost Station.
Right.
And what
Tell me about this one.
is thousands of years in the future. You are the last of the Pegasus Order, fleeing like enemy like aliens and stuff. And you go into warp drive, but something happens. And your warp drive breaks, and you find yourself pulled in by a tractor beam at this weird abandoned station. And apparently this is actually, not only does this take place in the future, but this is actually also an origin story to the temple that you go in Secrets of the Lost Tomb.
You're going to have to explain yourself.
Apparently, aliens, the origin, might have originally built the temple. So we're actually going to not only, in the future, but this is also going to learn the origins.
You find out the origin story.
But this is, I think they said it's going to be a little bit simpler than, in terms of components and stuff, but still has all the great mission stuff. And still the same thing, you're going to explore the space station, instead of using ropes, there's going to be teleporters and stuff. So you're going to find out what's in this lost space station. I mean, it sounds awesome. We already like Secrets of the Lost Tomb.
It's definitely a setup that could easily be tweaked for other themes, I think.
Right. But of course, space just sounds fantastic.
I like space.
And I can't wait to see what kind of scenarios they're going to have thrown at us that way. Another thing they actually have coming up, a while back, really. I guess not coming up, but revisiting. They had a Kickstarter for a spy game. Okay. Well, they're revisiting that. They're working on it. And they're actually going to have 2 separate games now that you can combine together. But one's designed to be just cooperative, and one's designed to be actually all competitive. Okay. So you can choose to buy both if you really want to have all the options, but if you don't only want one or the other, you can stick with that. So it really gives more people choices, and they're revisiting that. I'm really glad that they didn't just say well, the Kickstarter didn't succeed, we're not going to revisit it.
Yeah, they actually looked at what did people like or not like, and how can we adjust accordingly. That's
so cool. A lot of great stuff slated. I believe, by the way, that one, the space one's also slated for 2017.
Okay.
So a lot of sweet stuff coming from them in 2017. Very excited. Can't wait to see it all. But
that sounds good.
Let's bounce out the ball into your court.
Let's see. There are a few things that I got to do. Speechless is probably a good one to start, alphabetically, from Arcane Wonders, which is, in fact, their new Dice Tower Essentials game. I didn't realize.
I think that one they can't see behind us.
That's right. That one you should be able to see, yes. Got to actually play it while I was there, just do a quick round, which was the best part of it was that they were playing it on big couches right in the middle of the floor, so you got to sit on couches.
All I imagine is the line there is not to actually play it, people just want to sit on the couch.
That's what had happened. I was waiting for more players, and the guy sat down, and the demoer was like, "Oh, do you want to play Speechless?" And he was like, "No, I just want to sit on this couch." But that was great. But it's a charades game, but the guessers write down instead of speaking. It seems like right up my alley of these silly party games like Pictomania or Concept, and another great one to be able to play with family members or friends who aren't gamers, which I'm always looking for. Dixit, that kind of thing.
I'm really excited. I didn't open any of the cards, but I looked inside the box at the bottom card of each deck, and I think all of them, while some of them are very difficult and can easily be interpreted wrong, I think are reasonable and enjoyable. Because the one thing, I love Pictomania, but trying to draw he is this.
It's definitely not that brain burny. It's much more on the lighter side.
You get this, right?
Yeah. And the other thing is, if 2 people get the same wrong answer, you still get a point. So if my word is shovel, but it looks like a bird, and it obviously looks like a bird, you're not going to be punished for my mistake. So that's kind of a good
that's very interesting.
Fixer up for charades, I think.
Well, especially it'd be even greater to considering some of the times when you might both guess something hilariously and stupid.
That if everybody telepathically decides to guess a totally other word, you're good.
Bird. You did. It was shuffle. Why were you doing shuffle? It almost reminds me. I think at the time, I think we were playing Pictomania, and everyone guessed one thing for someone's drawing, and it wasn't. And everyone's like, "Well, what were you thinking?" Yeah,
that sounds like every time we play.
I feel like that. I'm very excited to play. I'm really glad you bought it.
That should be fun.
I feel like at times I'm glad you bought it. So I didn't.
I was definitely the biggest spender of this year's Gen Con.
Well, I guess for me, I'll say a couple of other things. A lot of things are smaller for me. I feel. But, I'm still very excited.
Yeah, what else you got?
Actually, another one. This one's you did not see.
Okay.
You recall the Least I Can Do dating card game?
Yes, I do.
Well, they came out with a new expansion there. It's not even on their online store yet, called Sloppy Seconds.
Okay.
So this one works perfectly with the other expansion, Ladies Night Out or the base. And if you didn't know, the Ladies Night Out one allowed you to play with female characters and have guys in the dating pool. This one adds sort of the the ugly, I guess, for lack of a better term, picks.
Okay.
But they're worth either positive or negative points, because there are certain cards in there called risque cards, I believe, and they're sort of things like weird stuff or fetishes and things like that.
Like that.
And if you play those cards, you roll a die to see if the person you're trying to date is into it, and they may or may not be. Except for the cards they introduced in this at the leftovers, I believe is actually what they call them, are always into it. And if you use that risky card on a leftover one, they actually are worth positive points in your victory pile. If you don't, they're worth negative. So it's this whole thing, if you don't have those cards in your hand, they can hurt you instead of helping you. Okay. But if they do. And I would like to mention one card in particular I love.
Please.
One is the Artist's Hand. And literally it's just a picture of the guy's hand.
Like a photograph?
Yeah, it's just a photograph of the guy's hand.
Okay, good. That's good. I like that. It's based on webcomic, right?
Yeah,
Is that
it's the least I can do webcomic.
Still run? Or
Yeah, it's still going every single day.
That's a lot of days.
I don't think I've seen them miss one.
Wow.
I think maybe once because they had to rechange the piece for some reason.
That's dedication.
Yeah, they're very impressive.
And they design games.
Yeah, they have this one.
The time?
And they had it there too, but I think we talked about it last time. But the Orphanage on Fire.
That's right. Yes. Does it? I want to say Ashes, but it's not. Rise of the Phoenix Form.
No, but I didn't get to try it, but I also got a free game with it in a little tube. It's like I think like a shoots and ladder kind of game, but very fun to see. I was just like, wait, I don't recognize that, but definitely something cool. But what's another thing that you?
I think I only have one more that I can remember right now that I actually bought that we didn't talk about, which was the Goonies card game, which I don't remember if I expected to see it or not there, but this was actually a Kickstarter that I talked about on the show, but didn't back for whatever reason, I don't remember. But it was actually the first thing I bought, and I was just like, all right, it's the Goonies. I'm about to start putting some things in my bag.
Well, this would be perfect with your other Goonies board game.
That's right, with the Blu-ray included version. So I'm still not sure.
I like how you call that one. It's not the included with the Blu-ray. It's Blu-ray included.
That's right. It came with the Blu-ray. Great deal in that board game. I don't know from looking at this game yet. I remember from the Kickstarter it sounded decent, but I think this is probably going to be one of those cases where it's just fun because I like the Goonies and not blow my mind. But I could be wrong. So we'll see when we actually play it. It has a solo mode. That is kind of cool. So
that makes sense considering because it is cooperative, right?
Yes, very cooperative. Super. Everyone's deciding where to move their stuff around the board, that kind of thing.
Now, this one I bought. I mean, I'm not going to talk as much about bot, but I think it's cool because I recently got Shadows of Brimstone, both of the bases. I haven't pulled it out of fear because I heard there's a campaign, and our Risk Legacy is already a little slagging behind a bit, and don't even get us started on our Descent. World.
It's rough.
So it's very hard. But when I was there, they had actually little packs of cards at booth, and I asked the guy about it, and it turned out I asked the creator. So he walked me through all the cards and what they do and stuff, and I told him my actual fears and stuff, and he's like, oh, don't worry, you can add and remove characters as you go along, which actually makes me really excited. This actually is perfect for our gaming group, because we never have the same people there.
Right.
And that makes me really excited now. And I actually got a bunch of packs because they had a big sale, like buy two, get one free. So a bunch of other cool ads. And I actually looked through some of the cards, and there are some really hilarious cards in there.
Am I wrong, or did they say the same thing about Seafall, where you would be able to bring people in and out? Or
they said they had a rule for it, but I don't know how it works. I feel like this one is because the way the games, you can either do the campaign or solo, but obviously want to do the campaign. But he really made it so it's not nearly as. And I also talked about the other stuff they had there, and it's really cool what they do. They actually pretty much, those white boxes you see there are pretty much like those are the figures we already sell in our store, but you can get them early, which I really do like. It's not a super promo-y thing. It's really just, you want to add these cool monsters. I was tempted to buy one, but I'm like, we need to play the bases. Because the one in particular I wanted to buy was a raptor. I mean, that just sounds hilarious.
Just one raptor?
It might have been multiple.
Okay.
But I meant the figures.
Got it.
Raptors.
Raptor themed.
Yeah, which is cool. But it was really nice talking to him. He was really kind, really explained everything to me, and it really was awesome to talk to them about that. And I know in particular also because these are the same guys who made Last Night on Earth, which we enjoy. And I think we definitely agree we're at the point when we're time to add something to that game.
Yeah, well, that's one of the earliest games as a group that we ever played. So I definitely think we need to add an expansion to that. We're long overdue, and they also have the I forget what they're called, but the space version that I think they're all compatible, which is kind of cool. You could have zombies on a spaceship. I don't know.
I think zombies and zombie aliens are fantastic.
Aliens on a farm, signs, yeah, that kind of works. How about the Netrunner stuff that you picked up?
Oh yeah, that was very hard for me to decide against it. I decided to wait on the Mansion Madness. But what they did have there were these 2 championship packs. These were actually the winning decks for both the runner and the companies for the Netrunner 2015 championship. They're really awesome, actually. I really like them. They actually have some alternate art. I don't know which, but even the ones that aren't alternate art, nice big pictures of art. I mean, it's really cool. Even if this isn't something like, oh, I finally have 4 copies of this card because in packs, like something more like Magic. But still really cool to see. And even like someone for me who's just starting to get Netrunner and be like, oh, okay, this is how a deck should run, or maybe or something.
Yeah, no, that's really cool.
But more importantly, I just love the artwork, and I love the idea of these small packs. It wasn't expensive at all. And I'd love to see even some of the other games have something similar, because I think that'd be really cool to even, I mean, sure, you should try to mess around and make your own decks, but sometimes it's just fun to have like that kick-ass deck.
Didn't Pokemon also do this? They released like
something like that, yeah. And Magic did a long time ago. I don't think they've done since, to my knowledge. Mostly because the cards tend to because the Magic.
They're rare, so they don't want to give you the good cards.
It screws around with the marketplace. Forgive me for that.
Yeah.
But speaking of cards, another big thing that happened. We didn't buy it, and Neil bought it the last day. He decided to buy the Versus Alien.
Oh, that's right. Right.
And he actually read up and told us about it, and it's really cool. So they have some abilities the same. Like I think the aliens have more swarm creatures. You may recall a couple of the cards from the Versus base set had that, like the imps. Pretty much, you can have multiple copies of them on the field because it makes sense. They're not like the one Iron Man.
Right.
But they added some other things. First of all, yes, the company and aliens are bad and good for considering anything says good or bad. But the aliens, I think both of them have it, but the 2 pictures you showed me were aliens, have an ability called Amplify. You can discard a location card, I assume, any face-down resource too, but you discard, and it gives them, pretty much powers them up. Like one was, this guy attacks for 3 times when he attacks, and he has Ferocious. And
it's just for that turn, or a permanent upgrade?
I think it's just for that turn.
Okay.
But by the description of, I don't have the rulebook, but what it sounded like is, I don't know whether that one thing gets amplified or everything that's amplified triggers. Next up are Facehuggers. You actually have a Facehugger token deck and I forget what the extended incubation. Okay. Now the eggs, you actually have the egg cards in your regular deck, and when you play them, they can hatch, like after a certain amount of turns or whatever the description is. You shuffle the deck of I think it's initially 3 tokens and the incubation, and it's pretty much seeing whether you get a Facehugger or not. So maybe you have to wait, but once you get the Facehugger, they can actually capture an opponent's like supporting character.
Okay.
And then actually you can sacrifice them to put an alien for free into play.
Oh, nice.
Which really works perfect with the Amplify. Like you can destroy your own resources, but you're going to be sacrificing their things.
That sounds really neat.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how this plays out, because that's a very interesting mechanic. It really changes up, like you're not just, I'm waiting to play a card. You can really think about, I'm going to play off your things or something like that.
Yeah, I think I know I was on the fence about getting a copy also, but we both just thought.
But mostly because we both have
we have enough to do.
Not even enough
with
to do.
Versus.
I was gonna say the Versus. Yeah. We were like, I just started customizing. I literally bought my cards right before Gen Con.
Right.
Because I was like, I'm enjoying this so much. I'm just starting to craft a deck. I'm trying not to. It was really funny because I was like, I like this guy, and then I looked online. Apparently, it's the top 2 characters used. I'm like, oh, I should change.
But what is really cool about that set is, it's a small expansion, but like all the expansions, they're actually standalone for 2 players, which is neat. Because I wasn't sure, because I know some artwork showed a big box. It was really confusing.
Probably conceptual, and then,
yeah. So
I think it's a smart move because I really think, considering the alien audience, just giving them, here's the humans, here's the aliens, enjoy. Later on, you'll get maybe different aliens, maybe different humans, predators, I think this is a smarter choice because compared to Marvel really does have all those. You have your Avengers, you have your Guardians, you have your,
Right. Aliens, it's really...
There's there's
aliens.
There's humans, predators, aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we had our discussion because I think as of this, Marvel had 8 groups. Something like
somewhere in that range.
And then we're discussing, can we reach that alien? I think we did stretch it out, I think, to 7. But
it was a stretch.
That's like trying to stretch. I mean, though some of them I would love to see separate. Like I do think there should maybe a separate human group. Like I'm thinking, aliens are very hard to stretch out. I really think that's one that's just done. Like you could do the red and black aliens, but that's like the only time. And I'm really pulling from the comics from that. Predators, you could maybe do 2 groups because they're actually, not just a hive mind. So that's why I think maybe 5 or so would probably be the sweet spot for Alien.
You could just have like one's the little aliens, cow aliens, dog aliens.
Oh, I can't. I'm so happy they're remaking all those figures. But that's not for this show.
So I can talk about a couple games that we did talk about that I bought but I kind of dug into a little bit more coming off of Upper Deck.
Well, actually, let's stick on Upper Deck with the big announcement.
That's true too. Let's get to that in a second.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but good that you remembered that. The only one thing really quick that I wanted to say, because we talked about the Firefly Legendary set, and I actually got a chance to go through and organize and look through all the cards, and we had said on the episode...
Jonathan, spoilers!
I know, spoilers. So we had said on the episode that the art was hit or miss, and I want to say going through it, it's almost all miss. I really, that is one thing. Now, having a chance to look through them, I'm very disappointed. Some of the art is, I think, quite bad. And for considering how good most of the Marvel art was, I'm pretty disappointed.
Honestly,
in that
I have a feeling because I'm thinking the Alien one, and I feel like the Alien's pretty hit.
Yeah, Alien was awesome.
But I feel like that's probably because I know definitely the Marvel one, because I've seen it, and I'm thinking probably, I assume I know DC does it with their things. Marvel and DC, you know how like this is the artwork you can use for Iron Man. Like they have the pre-made art.
Yeah.
Fox probably definitely, or if not, are willing to put in the money for Alien because they're already rebooting the franchise. We have that new movie coming out.
Right.
Firefly. They know people will buy if they just like, this stick figure, is the captain.
Yeah, like we were talking about the Buffy game about how, he was saying all the actors approved their artwork. I would be shocked if any of the actors saw their art. Like, some of them are real bad.
And honestly, I don't keep track of all of them. I do feel some of them are very proud of their Firefly heritage.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And would be very remiss of some poor artwork.
Yeah, but the game itself does still look awesome, and I'm super excited to try it out. As you alluded to, they had their special secret Gen Con party they have every year that we didn't go to, and announced something awesome.
Which is surprising, because honestly, I think we're the cause of their announcement.
Yeah, we really are. We really are. So they announced that Buffy is going to be, I don't know if it's the next Legendary set, but it is going to be a Legendary set, which is something we've talked about every time we mention Legendary.
Right, I think it's in our top two. I think, I'd say top three probably. We say like Buffy, I think Star Wars, and Transformers.
I haven't even thought about I don't remember that one, but yes.
Like Buffy and Transformers are really the top two.
It really felt like it was destined, like it was just such a perfect fit.
Well, because we say like they actually have, we'll focus on Buffy here. Buffy has the perfect multiple masterminds, multiple groups, the one hero, because an Angel has you can have different hero groups. I mean, I think whether you do a regular legendary, which I would love, or a legendary encounters, I think she can fit perfectly into either.
I'm pretty sure they said regular legendary, not an encounters.
I think that works well because I do think she has the villain. You have your heroes.
Yeah, it seems like a perfect match for sure. So
definitely very excited.
Super excited. Hopefully, especially I'm also hoping because that has a lot of comic books. Maybe they take some of the art inspiration from there, or use some of those artists.
Buffy again?
It's Fox also.
Oh, it's also Fox?
I could be not true, but I thought it was Fox. Well, it didn't air on Fox.
It would be interesting to see because
Fox has Angel, so I think they're all together.
No, they have to own it then, because there's no way they would let characters cross over.
Yeah.
If they didn't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, and it makes sense because Upper Deck has Fox. And
this is one I do feel they tend to happen to like this property.
Wait, who?
Fox.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, artwork wise.
Yes, hopefully it gets a little bit of a bump because of that.
And partly because also, I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the talks. I'm not saying confirmed of like reboot movie kind of deal.
There were talks of that a year or two ago, and people were not happy.
Right, but I mean, in terms of Firefly, they seem to they recognize it's a cult classic, but they're they're very begrudged by it. I don't think they have negative hostilities towards it, so they're willing to maybe put more into it.
Right, perhaps.
And so that's really cool, which means obviously they're listening to us, which means hopefully the Transformers.
Yes, Transformers next. Although that one, Well, I know Hasbro publishes the Transformers like Monopoly and stuff.
We've seen USopoly get with the Munchkin people and agree with
that's true.
With
it could
with Adventure Time. So let's USopoly, if you're listening, handshake on that.
Because that's its own. That's 40 sets right there.
No, it's brilliant. Yeah. I mean, you got the comics, the movie versions, Beast Wars, Beast Machines. I mean, you're done.
There's a lot. I also went through and punched out all the new Dead of Winter stuff, and I did put them all in one box. And actually, it wasn't that hard. Because, like we said, a lot of the stuff are this dice. You don't need more dice. A lot of stuff is straight up replacements for the boards, the player boards, the actual board. A lot of the cards are just replacements. The one thing that's really interesting about it is for the location decks, they have new ones for each deck. And what they say in the book is to shuffle them up and randomly pick 20, because that's the number that they're supposed to be. But a lot of people are having problems with that because that could dramatically screw with the flow of the game, because if there's no food in that deck and you need to get food, you're done for. So I was going through and trying to figure out, and Board Game Geek, I was reading a lot of people's different methods.
People suggest make sure at least 3 food are in there, or this, or something like that.
Yeah, that, and also, some things are straight up, again, replacements. Like, there's new fuel cards that are just the same thing, but with a new alternate function. So that's an obvious swap. It's really the unique items, like when you go to the police station, now there's like different weapons. So you have to kind of decide, should I have this weapon and this weapon, or try to keep it just at 20? I'm curious to try playing and see what feels right for us, but that's exciting. What else? I think that, for me, that covers pretty much everything that I bought. Oh, one thing that I got to see that I was really excited about, coming off of Zombies again, was the Walking Dead All-Out War miniatures game from Mantic Games.
Right, this is actually really funny when you first told me.
Yeah, well, it's like, as opposed to the Cryptozoic one that we saw, this is an actual miniatures game, so you're using rulers.
Right, and in this one, if I recall, the zombies are not controlled by any players. They're neutral, would you? Not neutral, but
AI, but
controlled by the board.
Not AI, yeah.
So you play as different groups of survivors.
Exactly, and you're trying to, basically it's a race, you're trying to get a certain number of loot tokens before the other team does, and the zombies are all obstacles, so if you shoot someone, the zombies in your area are going to come closer to you. So you have to decide whether that's important or not. And it looked really cool. And also, it's
How
like
are the miniatures.
They looked good. I think they were final, but they looked really good. They looked solid. They weren't painted or anything, but they looked fine. And it's the starter set is $50, which seems compared to the 120 whatever.
Well, I remember we actually joked about you can buy that starter set for $50, buy the Cryptozoic one that doesn't have miniatures for $50, and you get 2 games and miniatures.
Pretty much, you pretty much could. Also, this one is based on the comic specifically, not the show.
Right.
So they have a lot more to pull from if they want to do expansions, which of course they already had planned because miniatures games. But that seemed fun.
Speaking of miniatures and really awesome ones,
yeah.
I actually I stopped by Peterson's booth, which I really hope you visit, because they were selling Theomaki there, which we've already talked about how much we loved. And of course they had their Cthulhu Wars. I think they had the basic, but they still have a lot of other stuff.
Okay.
But they also had figures of their new game that's coming out on Kickstarter, Gloranthia, I think I'm saying that right, the Gods War. And they had some of the miniatures there. Maybe we'll put some pictures up or not. But they're really awesome, and what's really cool about it is it's like different. For me, I think it's already a set universe, but for me it's new, so seeing all these things are crazy. And all the detail they put into it, like there's the sun god who actually has like a flaming base. Like this one guy, he's like flayed, so he's just this cape of his skin is all that's left, but he's like bones like wrap around a rock and stuff.
Whoa.
And it's really cool, all this amazing detail, like that they look at everything, not just the figure but the base as well, so it makes sense. Like one was has, it's, the spiders have all the eggs on their back.
Yeah.
One's like that, but with like zombies and stuff, and like the floor is covered in zombies.
They weren't demoing it there, were they?
No, they're just showing off the miniatures. I think they look amazing, beautiful. I think my favorite, the one that was like a Kraken Omnite. I forget the name of it, but it was like looks more like an Omnite, I think that's what they're called in real life, or maybe I'm confusing with the Pokemon.
Yeah.
The spiral shells. A Nautilus, that's what they're called. That's why I kept saying Ammonite. Wow.
Pokemon is real.
But like that with amazing like water detail for the base, so it looks like it's really rising out of the water with its tentacles and stuff.
Is this going to be a Kickstarter?
Yes, it is. In fact, if you sign up for their newsletter now, you get like a promo figure for free when you do the Kickstarter. And by the way, these miniatures are the same size as like the Cthulhu Wars, so you're getting things like this big. So didn't play, but you got to see Dark Souls also? Yes.
Kickstarter, another Kickstarter?
And that was really cool. They had a cool statue of the main. I think it's from 3. The cover knight.
Okay.
Supposed to be, as well as watching the game, and it was very brutal to watch. The guy just won.
Yeah.
Like I think he had like 1 life left just to kill the dancer. Really cool because it rewards that. I mean, a lot of times I feel like when we go to games, when we have that one person who's able to memorize like all the cards. That like rewards it. Just like how when you play these kinds of games like this, Monster Hunter, like when you have to actually memorize, okay, I know that the monster's about to swing the sword left, then hit with the fist.
Right,
so I'm gonna dodge right, dodge, and then he'll be open now. So like you actually memorize the deck, and it was really cool to see it in action.
That sounds like Punch-Out a little bit, or of course Dark Souls.
Yes, but definitely really exciting, and really I think it's gonna be really fun when that starts hitting tables.
Bloodborne was there too, but I don't see that.
I saw a large crowd, and I couldn't make my way into it, unfortunately, and then I went to go find you.
that was most of our Gen Con experience, trying to find each other.
I think we just need to start like having like signal, like Pokemon Go signals.
Big flat, like a big hat or a bell, or like a special dog
spotlight.
Whistle.
No, we just see like a spotlight in the air. Like Jonathan's that way.
I also remembered the escape room game that we got, but that is we can't really talk about that because you have to play it. There's no, totally spoilers. So I really want to try to get that out at some point because that'll be interesting to talk about on the show. But seems like a good point to talk about maybe things we didn't get to do, like disappointments, regrets. Like, for instance, Bloodborne, we just said. I know Fantasy Flight had a couple games that I didn't even see. Doom and the Netrunner board game that are a real shame. They just have so many games every year that it's like you can't get to them all. And probably the biggest disappointment that wasn't in our control, the Attack on Titan games not being there, which is weird.
That was a big one for me because I remember loving it so much last time we played it.
Yeah. Even
though it was a prototype.
Right. We also we didn't get a chance to play the new action phase or not action phase. Is it action phase? I think it is.
I think it is.
Slash indie boards and cards games.
Dreamwell and
Grifters.
Yeah. We went there and apparently they took the demo away because they sold out like within.
We should have told them like we'll plug you on the show. Let us play these games right now. But we're humble, so we didn't do that. We walked away. But that was a shame.
More shy off and just like, okay.
Those seemed fun. I know, like.
But it's nice to see those sell.
Yeah, it's good to hear that they're apparently very good, because I know Dreamwell we did have as a Kickstarter. What else? How about some of the booths that some of your favorite, either in design or that even weren't board game related? Like, for instance, there's the Pokemon booth. Well, I guess they have Pokemon cards, but
that was very interesting to see them and like to acknowledge their card presence. I guess is big enough to.
Yeah, because that wasn't there.
And
before.
It was really funny though, because it was obvious that they literally they didn't like say. It's like they didn't make it like this is for the gamers. Like they know you're just here because of Pokemon. Like you don't care about the card. Like 90% of the people they just want soft toy Blastoise.
There were stuffed animals.
Oh, I bought these 2 glasses because they're just awesome. They had all the water starters on it, and one had all the fire starters. So I bought that for my brother and the water one for me. What they should have done is talk to Niantic and make like a Pokemon Bus stop there.
Yes. Well, there was no shortage of Pokemon Go playing as we walked around.
I think my Pokedex increased by 20. But that's not a really board game, and if you're into it, you already got it. If not, you don't care. I think, like I said, I really like it. Definitely when there's large miniatures like Dark Souls 1, but like all the miniatures, when they have a large picture of the miniature, I mean, that just makes total sense for that to be there. I think one of my things I love, still, I didn't see too much of it, but one of my favorite things was board game cosplay I actually saw from, I I just have brain dead. What his name is? The main sort of, I guess.
Sentinels of the Multiverse?
Yeah, but what's the villain?
Don't remember his name.
The doctor.
One of the villains.
With this, but like, because to me, Sentinels of the Multiverse is like the perfect place to go for cosplay, board game cosplay. Well, I guess I take that back. I did see a lot of Magic cosplay, which is cool.
Did you actually get to see the parade, or were you not there?
I did, actually.
Did. I wasn't.
And I had fun. What I like to do that because I try to name everything. This is very difficult. Some of them, I mean, some of them are pretty easy. You got your Star Wars when you come by and stuff. Usually, that's sort of the big easy one. There's some I didn't get. There's some I took and I'm like, oh, I know this, and then like, oh, they're from that video game when you can either kill everything or you do the peaceful option. What's the name of it? I can't remember. That's always a fun one when you're just like trying, but right before they walk by, like you have to name before they walk by.
Is that actually a game?
Yeah. No.
You're trying to remember?
No, not
Should
a
I
video
try and
game.
help you? Oh.
Not board game, sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like, let me think. So there's way more video games.
And I'm blanking now. I always blank on the name of
Half of them?
No, but like.
Undertale is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I saw those, yeah.
There was one I was really surprised I saw because I only found the songs recently. This artist did these music videos for, I think I've played them for you. One's called Ghost and stuff. It's almost like, it's like a Scooby-Doo-esque parody-ish sort of artwork style. But like someone actually saw dressed up like that. I was just like, wow, I can't believe I recognized that.
Obscure stuff. Well, we do have footage of the parade. Either we'll put it here, or it'll be a separate video with some booth footage and stuff like that later in the week. So you can check that out. We also didn't talk about the Upper Decks booth itself, which was amazing.
Wait. Do you realize if they have Buffy by Next Gen Con,
Whoa,
that's a Buffy booth.
The Sunnydale booth or like a crypt or something?
No, they'll do the bar.
The bronze.
The bronze.
Yes, the dance club for high school kids that does not exist in real life. That would be awesome. That'd be really good. That's a good idea. Too bad they didn't do Serenity this year. But they did Chinatown, which was awesome.
I mean, come on, they had the truck there.
Yeah, they had the truck, which was pretty good. I think that was all the best, all the good booth stuff. How about then favorite thing that you did at the show, either a game you played or that you just saw, any criteria that you want?
You go first. I admitted the thing.
I'm trying to think too. The best, like I know, it's hard because there's games that I didn't get to play. Yeah.
I don't think you had the chance to play this yet. I have. I actually got a promo card from Norse Saga, which is really cool. It's a really fun sort of. It's like you're supposed to be bard telling your story, but it's actually not just a story game where you can just read things. You actually have to play cards that make sense to make your myth, so to speak.
Okay.
Of course, if you haven't guessed, Norse Viking lore.
I guess.
Which is really cool. It was really cool to see them there. That's another thing I think. I always like when you see the Kickstarters you backed and like whether the small or big, and be like, I know you guys.
Right. Yeah, I know Cinelinx had some representation there. I didn't get to see them either. Or I didn't get a chance to check out the Paco game. I forget the Perplexed company, that they were there too.
I guess that was actually one of my favorites, mostly because I'm excited to play it this summer, later this summer, was the Dwarf.
Oh, Iron and Ale?
Yeah, Iron and Ale guys. Table Forge. That's to see them there because I always love how they stack their games so pretty in the back, and I love playing it. And that's I guess part of me was excited to see them just because it's like I can't wait to play that again.
Right. Tuesday night was there, Two Rooms and a Boom team with the new Russian roulette game. We're off the subject. What was my favorite thing? I don't. It's really hard because I want to be like, oh, maybe it's Cry Havoc, but I didn't really get to play that yet. Well, I guess Seafall is huge. I mean, that's definitely up there as fun. The Buffy game was awesome to see, but I don't know that it was my favorite thing. It was all. My favorite thing was that we decided to buy gel soles for our shoes this year and make our walking easier.
I definitely, Seafall's up there. I really enjoyed it. And I'm going to enjoy it more playing with our group and being able to actually just name everything. I think was hilarious. Because I had fun. Apparently I was the only one who's like, I'm naming my province Vim and like this. And you just give me a look like, Will, what the hell are you doing? But I think two of the things, actually, that I can think of really that are sticking out in my head right now.
Yeah.
One was actually the Plaid Hat app. Because that app looked awesome. I got to see it and see how they actually looked. I really want to try that out. I mean, we love the Dead of Winter one.
Yeah,
So,
and I was also really excited. That's another thing. I want them to add the new cards to that app so that I can take all those cards out of the box and make more room. Yes, so there's that.
honestly, I think one of my favorite things was that Arkham Horror card game. It was really fun. It was new artwork I haven't seen before, so I didn't feel like I was just like, okay, they just cycled the artwork.
Right.
Cooperative makes total sense. I really loved the Lord of the Rings cooperative one. And this one was really cool, which is what was all the thing that was happening. It sounds like it's going to be really fun to get a chance to play. And that was definitely best. But I think in the end, actually, I have my favorite.
Okay, let's do it.
That was close, though. I think that was my favorite playing.
Okay.
But my favorite experience was just talking with the creator of Shadow of Brimstone. He was just explaining. I mean, this is a really big game, but him explaining it to me, showing me all the card packs, really got me even more excited to play it. And, just that kind of seeing the creators, I think, and having them talk to you is always just, and knowing how much they enjoy their game and be getting to it.
Yeah.
Like, it made a difference for me.
No, that's a great. We got to talk to for a little while Rob Davio of Seafall, and Ignacy Trevicek is always there, but I didn't get to see him.
That was great too, but just because he was so busy, I think that's why.
Right.
Because it's obvious he was excited too. Like, I think my favorite thing he said, and I even said in our podcast, is
about Seafall. You're talking
about Seafall, is that this is just us playing his C-related D&D campaign, but he can't be there.
Right. We kind of got to see David Lowry for a hot second, who we posted news on and now works for Academy Games, and some other people. But it's always also really. It's hard to meet with people because there's just everyone's so busy at Gen Con, so it's fun when you actually get a chance to see somebody. The creator of Sheriff of Nottingham was there. Didn't get to talk to him though. But yeah, all that stuff is awesome. The Star Wars Destiny actually was really fun. That's probably somewhere up there for me. If I had to say, really, probably my favorite thing is what I didn't find out until after we got back, which is Buffy Legendary.
Well, it was like, as I said, that was exciting for me too, but that's just because we've been saying it for so long.
Yeah, they finally listened to us.
It's almost like, to me, that was like the Mega Man reveal in Smash Brothers. It's like, he wasn't my favorite because I'm like, what you've been saying.
Right. I will say my biggest revelation of all of Gen Con was the correct way to pronounce the publisher of Roll For It and Sorrow, which I always thought Calliope. Apparently it's Calliope. Mm-hmm. So now you know, if you didn't already, stick that one under your hat. They should include that in the instruction manuals, Calliope. Very important.
The Broken Token booth was really impressive.
I didn't get to see that either.
Oh, it was amazing. But I have a question. What would you want to see at next year Gen Con, considering that is their big 50th?
Well, I will. Yes. Well, one thing I think this year did great was it did not feel as crowded. I think they actually used the new space they got to their advantage. I don't know if you felt this, it wasn't a major change, but there were a lot of points where I never felt congested, where I felt like I did sometimes last year, other than the very beginning of the day when everyone's rushing in. So I hope that they continue that and either expand even more or don't, but also don't increase the attendance level, because that is probably another one thing I really appreciated this year.
You know what, I just realized, because thinking of attendance and people, like going back to cosplay, didn't Plaid have a thing like...
They had a contest, yeah. I didn't see it.
Did you see any Ashes people?
I'm sure they were there.
No, it's just interesting to be like...
Yeah, I don't know that there's anything different that I really want to see. I mean, I think they're knocking it out of the park, and this now in the park with the Lucas Oil Stadium, which I didn't even step foot inside of, but I heard it was cool. Next year, I hope every publisher has unlimited copies of their games to sell, because that's always nice.
Well, the one thing I'm curious about seeing next year is, I feel by next year, they will not gain more. At the very least, they will solidify their connections, Asmodee, with all their companies. So I'm wondering, are we going to see them more connected with each other?
Yeah, because there's like 18 booths that you're like, oh, this is all the same company. I do. After the show, Ignacy from Portal had a tweet that noted that of the top 5 hottest games of Gen Con, none of them were from Asmodee. It's kind of like a little burn against them, which I thought was funny. But yeah,
wait.
Even more changes.
5?
I don't know myself what they were.
Seafall didn't make the top 5?
I guess not.
I guess technically they're not, like they're in discussions. I don't know if they're officially.
I don't know what the things are, but and I also don't know if he was going. I assume he was going by Board Game Geeks, but I'm not sure.
No, that's what I meant.
Captain Sonar is another one I forgot. That was really fun. That's probably up there with games I really like to play.
I will say that out of all the games that we got, well, I am excited to go in Legendary, but that's because not even like these new ones. It's just I feel like we need to play Legendary more. Like it's more even the older ones they still need to get through. Mm-hmm. Like I think I just burned it on it. It's on the Speechless. There we go. Is the one I'm most
That's funny. You're speechless.
Is actually one of the ones I'm most excited about.
Yeah, because that will just be fun and not stressful, which is always a plus. Well, if that's all our Gen Con stuff, there are some viewer comments are backlogged on, and I want to extremely quickly run through some news things that happened, like lightning fast.
Right. Lightning news round.
Because they're just things that we missed, and because we've been so busy with Gen Con, that I think we should hit on. A new version of Machi Koro announced, Bright Light's Big City, which is a standalone.
And is that Target?
Target exclusive, which is another thing, which Target has been going all in on board games lately.
Apparently, we're going to see the two titans, Asmodee and Target, duke it out.
Yeah, we saw the new Codenames Undercover Adult Edition, which I don't think we even talked about in the show either, which was at the show. There's also a new Oregon Trail card game that was Target exclusive.
I mean, I think it's a smart move, and I'm happy, but I happen to always have liked Target, so.
Well, I think it's very interesting because it means that a major store is taking an interest in hobbyist board games, so it's another big sign.
The interesting thing is maybe we'll stop saying hobbyist board games.
That's right, just board games. So that Machi Koro game, though, it sounds like it incorporates some new setup rules that takes from the expansion and the original, so the randomness while still being the more, I don't know, some people didn't like that randomness too much.
Yes, the deck versus the Dominion style.
So trying to combine those.
And I am on a side, you'll have to guess.
They announced the expansion for Seven Wonders Duel. Go check that out. Winners of the Codenames won the Spiel des Jahres award. I don't know if you even heard about that.
I did not.
That officially did win.
Wow.
So congratulations to that game. That's exciting. This was I think I told you, but again, we didn't talk about it in the show. Wizards of the Coast now purchased and owns the Roll20 app online for playing role-playing games. So if you play D&D and you use that app,
very funny because we were like, we just you. Oh.
I know, we just finished the starter set, which now they have built in to the app. Would have made my life much easier and probably all of ours. But wow, that's a thing. So yeah, I think that's the main. The other big news was things that Fantasy Flight announced, which we talked about at the show. So then we have some backlog of viewer comments. Again, I'm going to run through. Some of these are not relevant anymore, so it'll be great. A while ago, we talked about those game night bags that were on Kickstarter that we liked. Rico Cordova said he did not end up backing them for one reason, because they don't have covers. And the problem that he has experienced with his bags is rain. And carrying, it's an interesting point that I hadn't even thought about.
Yeah, me neither, because I guess for us, where we live, we tend to park right in front of, in essence, a door, and we have maybe a 5-foot walk.
Yeah, so we're, if it's raining, we just rush in. But yeah, that's something to consider. We also talked about AR stuff and Pokemon Go. Falcon Ash K had a good idea involving Magic the Gathering with an AR device. If you were standing toe-to-toe with your opponents, seeing them on the screen with summoned creatures attacking them. Your device could vibrate with every spell or attack to you. You could have your online deck of custom cards right on your phone, so you could be like in the street, like a Pokemon battle, and be like, hey, you, start battling with magic or something.
Oh my god, I just imagine just driving down the street, looking at intersection, two people just angry looking at each other. Or even better, your phone can look and see if other people are doing battles in that area.
Oh,
so
nice.
like, you look at your phone to see dragon.
So it's Tinder for magic.
No, like if they're having the middle of their battle, you can not participate, spectate.
That would be good. The new Dixit expansion we were talking about recently. Web Jaker points out there were in fact other Dixit expansions with different artists. Didn't know. This is certainly the first one that's really changed up the look of it, I would say. But that is our mistake. Didn't realize there were different artists. So sorry, other Dixit artists that we didn't know existed. This I just liked because it's a comment on our Insane Clown Posse video that wasn't inflammatory.
Okay.
They just said they're waiting for their copy of the game in the mail. It says Amber Woy. They're excited for it, and Tom Wood's art in the game is just beautiful.
Oh, I mean, the cover looks nice.
Yeah, looked like it.
And let us know more when you actually get to play it.
Skyship Studios left a comment on our Gloom How to Play video. It's kind of an ad, but I'm still bringing it up because they mentioned that the Gloom digital edition is on Kickstarter right now, and since we don't really have Kickstarter for this week, and we didn't, there it is. It only has like a week or less left, so
better run.
Look for that. Although I'm sure once it's out, you'll be able to buy it for a nominal fee. Dragon 4201976, our resident Ashes super fan, is excited. Well, no, is not excited. Is excited about the new Phoenixborn set that's coming out. The decks also that you picked up, but is worried. Says if Asmodee, who recently purchased Plaid Hat Games, if they screw the game up in any way for them, they will boycott all of their games.
Well, that is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because when I was in line, first day for all the upper deck stuff, I got into a discussion about the Android Netrunner with a guy who actually has played, I think this, excluding this year, every tournament that they had, Netrunner tournament.
Okay.
Like I think at Gen Con or something, or the place, and he said this is the first one he's skipping this year because apparently like a new creator has taken over or something, and he feels like he's been ruining the cards. So, and that is Asmodee, so if they put that under their umbrella, that'd be very interesting to see.
That is
However,
yeah.
I feel like, all the other living card games have been doing relatively well, and I've really enjoyed the Arkham one. So, we'll see what happens.
Do you think now that Fantasy Flight and them are under the same roof, they'll actually call it an LCG?
No.
No?
Because it's the same reason, just because Asmodee has it, Fantasy Flight is very hoggy over Star Wars.
True.
So I don't think they get away their LCG phrase, and I don't think Plaid Hat cares enough to get it. Right.
I will also say that I feel like Plaid Hat is much more, I get the impression they're more designer. Not that, Fantasy Flight has some fantastic designers and some great games, but they seem a little more corporate to me than Plaid Hat. So I feel like
would you say that Plaid Hat is the runners? Fantasy Flight.
That is what I would say. So I wouldn't worry that would happen to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm interested to see what happens next Gen Con. That will be a year and really see what Asmodee does. Whether they just are saying we own them, but that's it, or whether they actually decide to pull their weight and maybe somehow allow or the designers to switch between companies. Very curious to see what happens.
And then we've got some Gen Con related comments from stuff from our videos, talking about the new Ticket to Ride. How in the base game, they tell you should start with 40 trains and 20 ships. They said that, well, that's not how we played. They said that it sounds like some of the strategy is to establish quick sea routes to connect continents, then use those as the hubs. Would you say that, reflected from ours, that kind of is the case?
Well, he's playing from
the world map
so
view.
That's a little different.
We didn't really get to
definitely, I definitely was thinking that kind of stuff, like, okay, I need to plan it ahead, but like the other thing, and I think that's why they took away longest road to make it so you're not I mean, we already have analysis paralysis. Imagine you have to think all that before. I can't remember if you get your tickets or not before.
You do.
You do?
You do.
But that's definitely something.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Before you decide with a number, I don't remember. No, I don't.
Because I remember, I think like we did or did not before, like because they just set up. It's definitely something I'm very excited. Once again, that was a lot of fun too.
Yeah. Did I even say the name? That was from GQ Daddy. What a name. Mark S. Talked about the Star Trek Ascendancy game from Gale Force 9. Said they were a little concerned about something that we said where the demoer mentioned a game in which someone didn't interact with anybody else at all throughout the entire game. They said, seems like Firefly in that regard, where while there may be 3 people playing, it could turn into a multiplayer solitary game, which wouldn't be so fun. I actually responded saying, I think that was an extreme example.
Yeah, at least from what we saw, I feel like that the way that happened would have to, the following things have to go through. One, you have to be the kind of player like me who likes to just turtle and do his own thing. Mm-hmm. 2, your other 2 people have to know you're not that kind of player.
Right.
And 3, they have to be going after each other. It's sort of like you have to have that perfect scenario for that to work out.
Yeah, in Firefly, like, definitely until the expansions, most of your actions were not involving other players, almost none of them. But in Star Trek, it does not like that. You're attacking or doing things with each other, affecting each other's routes.
Like, I think it has to, like, the scenario can happen, but I don't think, like Firefly, it's likely.
Grant Rodiek says, thanks for covering Cry Havoc. He is the lead designer of that game. So you're welcome, sir.
Thank you for making it.
And Dustin Crenshaw, this is from Board Game Geek, commented on the Buffy game, said a bunch of things. Good to hear this is a solid game. It seemed to have done a good job with the theme. Asked, did it not use dice at all? That is correct. No dice in this entire game.
No dice.
No dice. And they said, someone said it felt pandemic-like, having to not let vampires overrun an area. And I'm, in retrospect, I feel like I missed an opportunity not also comparing the game to that, because that's definitely, I would say, the other place, another very apt comparison to an existing game.
Well, once again, that's just like the cooperative game.
True, for sure. Like Pandemic, I'm trying to think of, like, really, and maybe, what's the Shadows over Camelot, any of those co-op games where you're managing invasions on a board, although in Pandemic the viruses don't move from place to place, they just appear in new places.
In the base.
That's true. Whereas in this game they're monsters, so more like Eldritch or Arkham where they're actually moving. But yes, kind of like that Pandemic in that sense. And just like this final comment from Miklos Fitch, who said on our final video, which we uploaded, which was a Ticket to Ride video, somebody's tired, ... smiley face. I think it was both of us. We were really tired, and still are, because it was a long week.
And don't forget the long drive back, where I'm pretty sure you did most of it.
Yeah, a good chunk, certainly. Yeah. So, yes, hopefully we covered everything you guys wanted to see. We never can, all of it. We try our best every year, but, we want to hear your feedback on these games, especially if you were at Gen Con and you got to try something or had a different opinion than we did.
Well, first of all, we're disappointed you didn't say hi.
That too, yeah. But
second, we want, like you said, we can do everything. Let us know which games you got to play, what were your favorite. Like if there's something we didn't say that you got to cover, if you were lucky enough to pick up what I think was the 2 hottest things, either Seafall or the Harry Potter deck building game.
Yes, for sure.
Let us know. We just want to hear everything.
We love to hear it. Easy ways to do it. You could email us, rollforcrit@gmail.com.
Or even easier, than watching this video, just scroll down, comment section right down there.
Yep, and you can always catch us right on Twitter @rollforcrit, plus Facebook, Instagram, etc. We've got links below. And if you missed any of that Gen Con coverage, you can go to rollforcrit.com, or specifically rollforcrit.com/GenCon 2016, where it's all being hosted.
Yeah, rollforcrit.com, great place for all our news sources and plenty other news articles, as well as many products.
Many great products at many great prices, so check it all out. And otherwise, we thank you so much for bearing with us.
Yes, we'll be taking a bit of a break for this month because, as we said before, we are exhausted.
We're tired, late summer months.
But I believe we'll be coming back around the 27th or so, around that week area.
You'll find out when it is.
But until then, I hope if you got some stuff, play it. If not, watch people play it. And until then, stay tuned.
Yes, indeed. I'm Jonathan Estes.
I'm Mo Keeler, and this has been Roll for Crit at Gen Con 2016.
We also forgot to talk about this beer.
What'd you think about it?
It was pretty good.
It was fun watching.
Tasted good. Yeah, it's fun to drink a thing of beer in the hot sun in the middle of the day.
It would have been fun to get some of the. Oh no, these are cool.
Oh yeah, these are awesome.
I thought you said hot beer.
No, I mean it was a hot day.
Oh,
while drinking the beer.
It'd be fun to do these with the dwarven drinking.
These were cool. Yes. Oh yeah, you're right. Just fill these suckers up. You can't get these. Okay. Great. Perfect. See, we're like Marvel.